Hi, and welcome to one of my first garden tours of 2023. Sorry, it has been a bit. I keep trying to get some things done so I can feel comfortable doing the video, but at this point, if I don't just take a video, I'm just never going to take one. So, starting in my front garden here. It looks a little dark because I actually had some mushroom soil delivered. It kind of looks nice because it looks like mulch, but in reality I'm just trying to build the soil because before I knew that soil mattered, I used to just put topsoil, and that obviously is not very good for growing flowers. Starting up front, I still have both of my phloxes. They put on quite the show this year. It was really nice. My clematis looks really rough right here. I don't know if I broke a stem trying to get it to climb or if the mushroom soil kind of burned it. It has some other blooms, just that one section kind of died out, but that's okay. I have some Gerber daisies I bought this year. My light pink ones did not come back, unfortunately. These are some poppies that I winter sowed, waiting to see those. These are some native tiger lilies I'm waiting to see as well. I've got a little basket of pansies there. My gardenia that looks rough every year. It's because it keeps getting attacked by woolly aphids. So I bring it outside and it does good for a season, and then it suffers all winter long again. This is my first Scabiosa, pretty little pincushion flower. I couldn't resist, I had to get it. Swinging over here, I got my first set of Lisianthus. I got some in a bouquet last year and I thought they were so pretty. I wanted to try and grow some myself. I haven't quite done the from seeds yet, so I'm trying them this way first. Over here, I did, and my husband did install another hose link. We loved the one we got last year so much. We ended up getting two more, putting them all around the house, and they are really wonderful, really great hoses, so very happy with those. This pot I put together this spring. It's all pansies and violas, and then it's got this beautiful zeolites calendula. Did not realize this one plant was going to be so vigorous and take over so much. It's very beautiful, so I'm not unhappy about it, but I did plant sweet peas. I was trying to get one to grow on each side, and they're here. They're trying. The calendula just kind of shut them out a little bit, but they're peeking out. So we'll see, it might still happen yet. But this has been one of my favorite pots I've done this year. It's very large, very beautiful, color peeking out from all sides. Probably shouldn't have planted the back of it, but oh well. In my front garden bed, you'll notice that my big boxwood is gone. I spent like an entire day cutting that out because I just was tired of it. I didn't like it anymore, and I was thinking about getting like a red bud Weeping Falls, but I'm just not sure if I want to have another permanent structure in here. So I'm gonna live this year without it and see how I like that. So what I did do instead is I did put some dahlias in the ground. So I've got 3 of them back here, and 2 of them that I actually grew from seed. So I don't know what they'll look like, but really excited about that. And I'm just gonna get some rebarb and try and support them up here and see how that goes. And I'm probably gonna fill, let me back up so I don't step on anything. I'm probably gonna fill this area up here with either cosmos or zinnias. I've got a bunch seeded, so I'll make that decision when they're all ready. I did move my azalea since the hose link pretty much went exactly where it was. It wasn't too thrilled with the move, but I kind of decided that it's not my favorite plant anyway. It was one of those clearance azaleas I got really cheap a couple years ago. Puts on a really pretty spring show, but other than that, that's it. So it looks fine though. It does look like I saved it. It's done for the year, so we'll see what happens. I also have some hyacinth runners here. Guess I must have dropped some seed pods or something, so I might just let that happen, maybe grow up here or something. My alliums finally got big this year because my boxwoods weren't clouding them out, so that was really fun. Looking forward to getting some Globe Masters next year. My black-eyed Susans both look really big. And the Chinese four marbles are starting to take over there in the back. So I have some dianthus too. They're all been kind of petering out. My hydrangea here I think it's going to be okay, but we've had a couple nights where it got a little colder than it probably prefers since it started leafing out. And last year I only got one flower because of that. So we'll see if I get any flowers this year. Oh, and don't mind my flag. I need to get a new one. Swinging to the front here. This is another Black-Eyed Susan that just kind of blew over there and started growing, so I'm letting it go. I've got my Gaillardia that came back from last year. Pretty salvia. I did buy a lupin this year. I don't know if I'll get any blooms, but I thought I'd want to try it. This little pot I put together has some really pretty Calibroca, some leftover violas, a euphorbia, and this really cute buried treasure Osteospermum. It's the first time I've ever grown this one, and I really, really like it. It's very cute. This Gerber daisy is coming back from last year. So excited to see what that one looks like. I have this little pot here. Pretty sure I put some bachelor buttons in it. So we'll see if any grow. I've got my mum. It kind of is starting to fall apart, which I believe they kind of are known for doing that. So I might either kill off this section or maybe talk about getting a new one next year. We'll see. I did have to buy a new Spanish lavender. They're the ones with the bigger ones. It died last year, actually. It died. I tried to replace it, but the one I replaced it with wasn't actually Spanish lavender. So got a new one this year. This pot I put together, it's got these beautiful double petunias with my Dichondra Silver Falls and the Sparkling Amethyst Verbena. One of my favorite combinations so far. Coming over here, I did get this really cute little native plant. It is a purple poppy mallow. It's called Wine Cups, so it should have cute little red flowers. Excited to see that. I do have random garlic everywhere. I put them in the gardens last year as pest protection, and they kind of lived and came back. Now they're throwing scapes, so I don't think they're gonna bulb anymore, but I'm gonna leave them for now. This is another pot I put together this year. This is the Petunia Bordeaux, one of my favorites, with tiny lemon. I don't remember the exact name. Some Gomphrena, because I just love this stuff. And another Dichondra Silver Falls spilling out. The Ajuga put on a nice little show again this year. I wasn't sure I was fond of that ground cover, but I do really like it, especially every spring, seeing it all purple. It looks like this. I did just cut my lilac back for the first time ever. I've never done a rejuvenating prune on my lilacs before because I was so terrified. But I finally felt comfortable this year, and I said I'm just gonna go for it. So I just chopped it all off, and hopefully it'll spring back to life. I did throw some fertilizer on too to help. My hanging basket, it looks like Supertunia Jazzberry along with some Bacopa. It was very, very flowy. I really liked it. My blue cornflowers, I was actually a little worried about them last year because they kind of looked like powdery mildew and kind of all died. And I was concerned that I killed them all, but they come back just as strong as ever and always so beautiful. This mum here is looking really good. I am going to try and make myself do a Chelsea chop this year on both of them so they don't get too large and fall apart. My apple blossom snapdragons came back from last year. This phlox, it's not pretty right now, but it's this really pretty light blue color. And I love this little basket here. It's just a bunch of little violas, and they just peek themselves through the trees. Look at that one. Due to lack of sunlight. And I do actually have a lily. So hopefully that'll bloom soon. My Japanese maple, looking glorious as ever. I did actually finally prune it this year for the first time, which in doing so, I learned there's like the perfect little seating area right there. So I don't know, might put a little little nook in there that I can hide. Back here, my mallow actually kind of self-seeded in a few different places, so I have 2 of them coming up now. I don't really know what this is. It's probably a weed, but I'm letting it go for now. My daylilies have gotten really large. I'm hoping to fill in some sunflowers there. I've got those growing right now. And my butterfly bush was cut back. I do notice, like, kind of looks like this branch may be dead. So I might cut that one out. And I think this one is dead as well. So I'm gonna work on that. This area has my blue cornflowers that spread, but I really like them. I also planted some double Dutch cosmos that self-seeded from last year. Got another little basket here, and I put tall centurias in there. We'll see if they grow. And looks like a storm's gonna blow in, so I may have to stop. All right, sorry about that. Took a brief break for the rain, and now we're back, and let's do my vegetable garden. So I think what we'll do is we'll start over here. This bed is always my famous lettuce bed. Most of the lettuce that's in here, I think, except for those 2. The rest of that was all lettuce that self-seeded itself, and I just put it back in here in cute little rows and eat off of it. This romaine is another one I planted, actually. It's from a grocery store. This is a Chinese cabbage that I overwintered, and it bolted right away, but I like the little flowers, so. And this area right here is actually a bunch of radishes because I dropped a bunch of seeds, so I just kind of tossed them in there, and now I've got radishes growing. For the first time, I've got a pretty decent spinach plant growing. I've got one there, and I've got one in my other bed. My kale over here, I had a couple different varieties that I had overwintered, and they all got pretty bug-eaten. There's one little one right there that's still kind of growing, but that's my best one over here. This arugula actually is the same arugula that grew last year. It overwintered, came back full as ever, and it actually shot out baby arugulas everywhere. This pot, this year I've got snapdragons in it. Most of the ones in there are a cherry twist variety, which I haven't seen the flowers yet, so I'm excited to see that. In that little pot there, there's some dill and some calendula that's self-seeded. I also have some bachelor's buttons in the back that I put seeds in that look like they're coming up. And in the front, I put nasturtiums, so we'll see if they grow. And then I have some bronze fennel in that over there. I actually have a bunch of bronze fennel here. I'm gonna be handing that out to people who are interested. It's self-seeded itself all over the place, so I did that. This is a purple potato. Apparently I accidentally left a bud of one in there last year and it grew, so I'm gonna see how potatoes do in this raised garden. This bucket here is all poppies that I overwintered in a winter sowing method. It also has some sweet peas growing in it. I don't believe that I planted them. Perhaps it was left over from once I tried to overwinter. It did have one poppy already, and I've got a couple more about to bloom. This bed last year was full of calendula and chamomile. For some reason it didn't do that again this year, but any chamomile I did find, I did put in this pot, so I'm hoping to keep that going. And any calendula I found that self-seeded all over the place, I put into this pot. Stepping down. Sorry about my umbrella down because of the rain. I did go ahead and put in some zucchini seeds and also some yellow squash seeds here. So hopefully I'll be able to use this bed to make, or to grow, not make, grow a lot of squashes and stay out of the way of my other beds. On my table here, I've got some more snapdragons. These should all be the apple blossom variety. This is my portulaca, and I have some that are coming back from last year. And my Swiss giant pansies. They also self-seeded from last year, so I popped them into this pot, and they're very cute. coming over here. This is a bunch of black-eyed Susans that I dug up from other parts of my garden I'm handing out. I also have some cosmos and other things I tried to grow that I've been slowly using in different places. This is some stock that I bought this year to try out. It's very, very, very lovely fragrance. And I've got some cosmos growing in the back there. Most of these sunflowers have either been transplanted over here or came back on their own. These are some cosmos I pinched and I'm trying to regrow. Along the back here is all going to be dahlias. So I planted that one. It's a black touch. These two here actually overwintered. So they should be white blizzards. And thought that was kind of cool. They came back. And then over here, there's going to be a Cornell bronze that will come up. This is lamb's ear that I think it wasn't here last year, even though I had it in a pot the year before, and it just decided to start growing, so there we go. This blueberry bush doesn't have a large amount of blueberries, but it does have a couple, so I'll get to enjoy those. And then this bush looked really bad last year. I wasn't sure if it was gonna live. See, it's got some pretty bad tip damage, but we'll see. Might have to get a new one. This is another thing of chamomile that grew over here, and also a patch there. I believe this is just like a giant false carrot, and I don't know, it's kind of cool, so I just let it go. Speaking of carrots, this is another bed I got. I got this last year on a really good sale, but I didn't put it together until this year, and I just used the entire thing to grow nothing but carrots. And so far it's been doing really well. I'm able to keep them off the ground so that the rabbits can't get to them, and I've got it netted off so the deer can't get to them, and I've been able to come through here and thin them pretty well, so hopefully that'll work nice. I do have some potatoes growing over here. This is a Kennebec variety. This is a purple potato. And then this is a mixture of red and russet. These are 15-gallon grow bags, and then that one's a 10. Got those for Christmas, so I'm trying them out. They are currently netted because I was having deer issues. My green stock here, this is my mostly vegetable green stock, so I've got a bunch of lettuce in here, carrots along the top. I've got some radishes down here, and it looks like they're about to bolt, so I might have to rip them out. I have a mixture of French breakfast, cherry bell, and watermelon radish. I've got some kale, some onions. This is a Swiss chard with whatever this is. Oh, I do have some borage too that grew on its own. Oh, and I have some arugula. I dug up some of the arugula and threw it in there. Another kale. And I did have a pea in here, but it kind of shriveled up and I let it go. Also, favorite lettuce combo right now. Look how gorgeous. I feel like you could put this in any planter and it would be gorgeous. Also, along my path, there is a lot of weeds and I think wildflowers growing. I did throw some wildflower seeds. There are some things that I've never seen before like this. I'm thinking it's some sort of flower, so we'll find out. There's sunflowers, and then like here was bachelor buttons, but it does look like something came by and ate it. So, oh yeah, see, look, I'm about to get whatever it is. Also, I've been leaving this even though I know it's not a flower, because look at that. That is just covered with aphids. So I'm hoping that I can use that as a trap crop and maybe keep them off my other plants. We'll see. Starting in this bed over here then, I've got a black crim tomato growing here with some calendulas. This is a big rainbow, a tigerella, and a basil. And I've got some cinnamon basil in that pot there. The sunflower, calendula, those all sprouted on their own. See, they're all over the place. This is what was it called? A strawberry blonde marigold. I got a 4-pack of them. They were so pretty. In this area here, I've got 4 rows, and I'm growing my green beans here. I did 4 different kinds, and they're starting to pop up. So we'll have a pretty healthy green bean harvest. And then this section of my bed is pretty much all bell peppers. The front 6 here are regular California Wonders. I've got 2 purple bell peppers here. And I have some artichokes that I winter sowed. I put 1 in each corner. I've got a black Hungarian, like jalapeno, and 2 serrano peppers. More sunflowers that seeded themselves. This pot here I kind of passed over. This is some amaranth I'm growing or grew. It's called Coral Falls. So it should get tall, which is why that's there, and it'll have like red tassels. And then I just line the front with alyssum. I also still have some onions that either I threw in last year or garlics. Like that's definitely an onion. That might be garlic. This side is definitely all garlic. So hopefully I'll get some bulbs of garlic this year. And like I said, artichokes. This side is all my hot peppers. So up front I have a variegated fish pepper. If you can see the leaf splash, it's kind of fun. I have 2 shishito peppers. Over here, I had 2 Fresnos, but something ate it, and also something's just in general eating my hot peppers. I'm actually kind of concerned about my hot pepper harvest. Like these 4 are my jalapenos, but you can tell something is definitely eating on them. That Cosmo seeded itself. Coming up here, I'm actually trying to grow quinoa. I don't actually see any sprouts at the moment. Calendula that's self-seeded. Cinnamon basil again. Sunflower that's self-seeded. This is a Kellogg's breakfast tomato. Then I have my Cherokee purple, regular basil, and my black beauty. Look at this. Look how vintage and cute. Just had to have it. Kind of going a little all over the place, sorry about that. My strawberries. My strawberries are looking really good. I actually got to have like my first 2. And then I've come out and I found a couple others eaten off right off the plant. So I put better protection around it, see if that helps. Here's another self-seeded bachelor button. This is a pot that's new to me this year, and I have cosmos growing in it along with a sweet potato vine. Well, actually no, it's a sweet potato slip, not a vine. Not that I'm actually expecting to get sweet potatoes out of it, but we'll see. This green stock tower here is mostly flowers and some strawberries. So like here's some apple blossom snapdragons I grew. Here is an ivory princess calendula, bachelor buttons. Got some cosmos, some poppies, but like here's some strawberries. Here's a lavender. One of my strawberries had a blossom. There it is. Cute little pink blossom strawberry. I've got some forget-me-nots growing up here and whatever this weed is. Some Canterbury bells. I'm excited to see those. Some black prince snapdragons. Looks like I've got more bachelor buttons popping up already. So yeah, this is kind of my fun green stock where I just kind of do random things that make me happy. Here's a bunch of other sunflower, and look at this one. I kind of love calendula just for that fact. All right. Up here, this is a ruffled tomato. My friend got me seeds, so apparently it's like kind of foldy and pleaty, so we'll see. Here's where I'm actually expecting to get a sweet potato harvest. I've got 4 slips planted in there. Probably too much, but oh well. And again, the amaranth, the Coral Falls amaranth, and the alyssum. This is, I got these super hoops this year for Christmas, and I've got some insect netting on them right now. This is my brassica bed. So I've got, well, cold crops bed I get, because there's all of my kale that I've really been eating. I've got beets all up in there. Back here, sorry about the netting, it probably looks a little weird, but Romanesca, I've got 2 of those growing. I've got 3 cauliflower plants and even have cauliflower coming. I think that's actually another cabbage, but this row's supposed to be Brussels sprouts. I haven't seen any yet. There's another cabbage. And I've got some red acre cabbage too. My first big broccoli plant, I already cut the broccoli off because it was about to flower. I think it's just getting too warm, but I'm leaving it for all the little offshoots. And I guess I'll swing around here. These are some like extra dahlias that I just put in grow bags because I realized you can't just save the bulbs over winter. So I've got some purple tutti frutti and some white blizzards that are just in grow bags. And up here, I've got poppies that I all winter sowed and some torch flowers that I grew. So they'll be nice and inviting to the pollinators. Coming around on this side, each corner has another calendula. This is another zeolites calendula. There and here. And I've got my snap peas doing well. I've got some Boston pickling cucumbers coming up. And then right here is going to be cantaloupe. I don't see any coming up yet. And then I moved, my cherry tomatoes were there last year, and I'm trying to do some rotation. So I moved my cherry tomatoes to the front this year. And on this side, I've got black cherry, Napa Chardonnay, and a regular cherry tomato, all with alyssum in between. And then at the end, I have a sweet pea. Also, finishing off this bed, here's my other spinach plant. You can tell it's bolting, but it still has some pretty good leaves on there to eat, so I have to harvest that soon. These pots still have the bee balm growing in it, random pink colors. You can tell this one does not self-seed itself as easily as this one does, so hopefully he'll pick up the slack. And this year I tried something a little different. I actually bought a mixed bag of ranunculus corms. I pre-sprouted them and then I put them all in here. I'm hoping for a fun little display in my swinging baskets here. I do have one that looks like it's about to bloom, so that's exciting to me. Still have a thyme growing there as well. Cherry tomatoes on this side. So I have a Rosella, new one to me. I have a purple bumblebee, and I have a Napa rose. Also have alyssum here, but like this one died. I don't know what happened, but these all look kind of rough. And another sweet pea. Also, notice the volunteer sunflower and the volunteer tomatoes all over the place. I have a Kajari melon here. I don't see any sprouts yet. I also put a blushing Susie vine. I had like 2 seeds left, so I threw them in there to see what would happen. And I should have some cucumbers planted here. I don't see any sprouted yet, but that's where they'll be. Also, these flowers are just so cute. And I do have some pods. And then this bed this year, I'm trying this as being my dahlia bed. I have 4 T-posts installed, so I'm going to put some horticultural netting to help support them, since I learned that's actually really important last year. And I kind of did like a zigzag pattern to give them enough space and airflow. I do have random things like the sunflower. There's some sort of squash type plant growing in there, a cucurbit. There's a couple more in here like this one right here. This dahlia I planted because I'm pretty sure it's actually not viable, but I figured if I get it to grow, like, I'll figure it out. Otherwise, I don't think something's going to grow there anyway. So I have a seedling there. I have the one I don't think is viable. I have an Arabian Night, which is supposed to be like a red. This is another seedling I grew. I have Cornell Bronze again. I have, what is that? Oh, Creme de Cassis there. I've got a Bluebird. And let me come up front. I forget my pattern. Oh, a hot pink Caitlin's Joy, really excited about that one. And another one that I'm pretty sure isn't viable, it's a Peaches and Cream. I kind of really hope that it is because I really want to see it, but the tuber didn't look very great. And my raspberries, they're doing very good this year. I actually ripped out the one that was in here because it was like a wild raspberry, and I never cared for it. The fruit never held together. It just wasn't my favorite. So I found another cane that was the same variety as this one, and then also it's shooting out so many canes underneath the bucket. So I dug a bunch of those up, filled this pot, filled that pot, and it looks like I'm going to have a really big raspberry harvest. So, and some of them are pretty sizable. I'm excited about that. So yeah, that's all the stuff in my vegetable garden this year. I'm still growing a lot of vegetables, and it's a lot of food to process. Growing more tomatoes than I did last year, and I already didn't know what to do with all the tomatoes I grew last year, but I really wanted to see the different varieties, try them out, and I'd already started the seeds, and so here we are anyway. But yeah, I kind of wanted to take more of a focus on flowers this year, so I didn't grow as many different types of vegetables as I usually try, because I'm trying to focus on peppers and tomatoes and cold crops. But anyway, now let's go to the back patio. The patio is a little messy, but like I said, it was now or never. These pots are looking glorious. I once again questioned if I should rip these hostas out so I can put something more fun and tropical in there. But they're just so full and lovely, and I just really love seeing like the sweet potato vines peeking out, and the Goldilocks and the dragon's blood. They're just such full pots. And then with the lights, yeah, I don't know. I probably do need to separate it though, because it is getting rather large hosta-wise in there. I did let my rubber tree die this year. Just wanted something different, so I did do this combination. I really love these. Those Silver Bell Vistas, so cute. And I believe this is like a royal purple verbena. I think the combo of the two of them are really good. And then this is not typically my color palette because it's kind of orangey, but I thought they kind of went together. It's kind of neat though, because it like starts out yellow and then it fades, and then it like, well, I guess it goes to this next, and then this, and then that's when it dies, which is very pretty. Trying something a little different this year. This is sort of like a little, I don't know, cocktail-y table sort of thing. So these are some fresh flowers I cut that aren't really that fresh anymore. I've got some dark opal basil growing here. I put some seeds for like peppermint and spearmint in here, planning to put cut flowers in there. And then this is calendula and bronze fennel that I dug up, and then that should be a combination of chives and lemon balm. And then I've got a thyme here that actually looks like I've killed it. It's so dry. Oh well. This pot over here, another combo I put together. Really pretty Calibroca here. Just think it's so pretty. Got the Diamond Frost Euphorbia. I also put some calendula in here that I dug up. Should be strawberry blonde variety. And some more Gomphrena. I've got my little violas that I grew again. I just think these are so cute. And these are ones actually I didn't grow. They kind of grew themselves, and I just kind of popped them in here with them, and now it's a full cute little pot. If I come over here, I've got another thing of portulaca. It's my favorite thing to put on my patio table. Don't know why, but it is. Over here, I've got like the cherry punch petunia. These are some apple blossom snapdragons when they grow. an Ipomea. This should be a really pretty like white hibiscus with like a red center like this. I thought they'd play nicely off each other. And then, as always, my strawberry banana lantanas. This is a trailing variety. So I'm interested to see how that grows together. I've got a basil that looks terrible. I'm actually probably gonna get rid of this. It's the original plant that I actually cloned a bunch of others from, and I'll probably repot it with one of its clones. And then this is a ranunculus I bought, and it's gorgeous with its little purple tints. This little section here, I've got some stevia I grew. This whole pot is just a bunch of dill. I'm really growing dill for the flowers because it's great for pollinators. I think it's cute. I like to use the leaves in bouquets, and it does smell good. That is a lemon mint. Again, I kind of let that one flower because I think it's pretty. And that pot will all be nasturtiums once it grows. I guess I'll just do this garden now. So I've got marigolds around the perimeter like I always do. Cosmos growing there. I think that's a marigold that grew from seed. I've got my hostas looking lovely. Oop. I've got a nice gomphrena going there. Do have a lily growing here. It's funny because that side has a bunch. This one only one. This whole thing is just a big blanket of lavender, which I think is lovely. The other side of the hostas, all of the stargazer lilies. There's another gomphrena behind there. Hummingbird feeder too, if you look from this angle. And there's the marigolds. Another cosmos. And my native fleabane that I wouldn't let Caleb rip out. I think it's cute. Probably not great for the patio, but you know, I saw it for sale at a store for 15 bucks and I was like, I got one for free. All right, coming over to this side. This is like my herb corner. So I have a cilantro that I had been growing over winter and eating off of. So when I planted it, I knew it wasn't ready for eating, but I like to let it flower again for the pollinators, and then I can collect the seeds. This cilantro I grew from seed. Actually, yep, actually looks like it's about to bolt too. Oh no, nope, that's part of that one. Nope, we're good here. No, that stem looks kind of flowery. Anyway, so I've got that, but I've got a bunch that self-seeded and or I seeded as well. And I've got my curly parsley, one of my favorites. And I've got a little basil in here. I don't have anything there yet, but I have it ready to go. Sage and rosemary. I actually had to buy rosemary this year, which bummed me out. Usually it comes back every year, but that's okay. This pot is nothing but purple and cinnamon basil. So hopefully that gets pretty big and lovely. And I've decided, I used to take this bucket and I used to grow 5 different types of herbs in it. So I'd do like dill in the middle, rosemary along the back, the oregano, and then the thyme. And like last year I tried tarragon, which I never used. And I found that the herb I use the most is thyme. And in the winter, when it's not growing anymore, I get pretty close to running out of thyme. Sorry, I made myself laugh. I don't know why. Anyway, so I figured I'm going to turn this bucket into my thyme and oregano bucket because both of these come back for me every year. I don't really need to buy new, and I just want to keep adding more thyme so that it keeps being ready for me to use. So I let this side flower, A, because it's really cute, and B, because there's enough of it growing. I did plant a new one this year, just of regular thyme. And I also planted my lemon thyme in here. Now I had a lemon thyme last year in a pot and it did not survive. I'm assuming it just didn't have enough room or something. But I really like that. If you use a mix of like the lemon thyme with the regular thyme in like a chicken pot pie or something, it's really good. So I want to get a big bush of that as well. And then like I said, this whole thing is oregano. I did grow a new one this year and I threw it in just in case. So it's there, but this all came back and it's just, it keeps regrowing and working out really great. So, and then this section here, this is all plants that I have yet to plant, don't know what I'm doing with, and or they're going to somebody else. Here's a bunch more of the basils I propagated off the other one. There's a sweet potato, some tomatoes, and there's 2 more dahlia bulbs in there that I'm trying to grow out. And that is a bunch of agastache that I'm giving away as well. And that is a mess. All right, let's go ahead and go back to the shed and look at those. First of all, this area currently is a giant mess. I did actually take the time to clean it up and try to get it on the trash can. The trash can is full and I need to get it emptied, but they don't pick up trash all the time. And with me cutting down like my lilacs, and there was that other bush that I took out, they're all ended up here. And also my other food scraps, because this is where I also try to sacrifice things to the deer and the bunnies so that hopefully they leave my garden alone. Doesn't always work, but fingers crossed. I did want to show this too. This bush as well is completely covered with aphids. You can see all of the curling of the leaves. I just decided that this wasn't a bush I really ever wanted anyway. It's another original bush of the house. It was a nice filler plant, so we just kind of tucked it in here when we installed the tree line. But if it dies, it dies. Hopefully it's more of a trap crop right now, and I'm okay with that. And then maybe I can replace it with something more fun. I don't know. Or maybe an actual compost pile, since I obviously need it. Don't really love that thing. I keep trying to figure it out, keep trying to use it. Takes way too long to turn anything into compost. And I don't know. I'm probably not doing it well. That's something you really need to take time to understand to do a good job with compost. So I probably shouldn't blame the container, but it's just not working for me. So anyway, this little spot used to be like my herb space, and there is still some here, but I found this area just doesn't get enough sun for most things, so I've kind of moved it on to other areas like the patio. My window box this year, I do also find I have to replace this every year because the birds rip it apart, and it looks like they're working on it again already. So like nothing that I plant here really stays, but I'm hoping, I don't know, maybe this year will be different. So I put some Goldilocks in here, Creeping Jenny, hoping that that's a plant I can just keep every year, and it seems to do well in high sun, low sun. I put some calendulas that self-seeded in here, and then these are petunias I got pretty cheap from somebody. Deer came by and ate them all the way to the nub. And I was like, I don't even know if they're gonna live, but these plants are pretty hardy, so they're slowly coming back, getting some buds, thankfully. My chives are here. Random sunflower. This pot is so root bound. I'm gonna need to like upgrade it. So that's something that's on my to-do list. I don't even eat chives. I just think they're cute and I like to have them around. This chocolate mint self-seeds itself every year, so I just kind of let that happen. I used to put the lemon mint here in the corner, so there may be, like this sort of looks like lemon mint. But otherwise, it's only chocolate mint at this point, which I love, can't complain. This is my portulaca. It should be hanging, but the chain's broken, so I need to fix that. And then this pot has portulaca as well. My cactus, I'm actually thinking about getting rid of that. I kind of don't want to because it's cute, but the amount of times I get little stabs because of it annoys me. The other day I had some between my toes. Anyway, this pot here was spearmint last year, and I can tell that some have come back, but not super great. Although maybe they're coming back now. It definitely has some like weeds in it too. Like here's a little clover. Anyway, I'm kind of hoping that does come back because I'd really like to have a pot of mint that I can do whatever with. This pot got really worse for wear last year. The milkweed completely died off. It like lost all its leaves. I had sunflowers in here and they also got really bad. I mean, they at least flowered, but they pretty much lost every leaf up the plant. So I actually didn't have hope for anything coming back in here. Looks like it did, but I will say it also looks like the leaves look terrible again. So last year I assumed it was some sort of bacteria sort of thing. So I got copper fungicide and I sprayed it, and it kind of helped, but not really. So we'll see. I put the rest of the deer-eaten petunias in this pot just to see what would come back, or yeah, come back, because the deer ate them. They look like they're doing pretty well. And then also line the whole thing with onions, pest protection, and just because I had a bunch. Also, this is what I mean by the violas just coming back. They were in like the yard, and I don't care. I think it's cute. These pots, you can tell, are kind of fizzled out at this point. I mean, they're still beautiful. They have beautiful flowers, especially this kind. And the lemon, I really like that actually. But like this one's even worse. But they won't be around much longer, and then I'll try to either swap it or leave it. I'm not sure. And that is my back patio garden. Now here comes the area I'm most excited to show you. I'm probably not going to know the name of everything, but I'm going to do my best. Starting in this little corner. So what I have learned from observing and watching over the last year, this corner is sort of like a good shade plant spot. So I bought my first hellebore and I had it planted in my front garden, and every day it just fell to the ground and looked extremely dramatic. And then that's when I realized it's kind of a shade plant and it really should be back protected. So I moved it back here and it looks so much happier. It's pushing out new growth, still putting out pretty little flowers. So I'm really excited about that. This was an experiment. I threw a bunch of sweet peas in. Obviously it's doing really well. I did have to add the twine because it just was not grabbing the black trellis. So I did add that, hopefully see them climb, and I'm so excited. I really hope I get some sweet peas. And for the third time, I have bought a bleeding heart bush. I got this at, I got this at a flower shop. So the two that I got last year, one from the native plant sale and one I got from Stauffer's years ago, both of them did not come back. So I thought, this is my third try. I'm putting it in a more shaded area, and hopefully this one takes off. And if not, I guess I'm just not meant to have a bleeding heart. So that calendula self-seeded, and then I had a bunch of onions self-seed in my garden path from the ones that flowered last year. So I dug all of them up and I put them all throughout this garden over here so that it would help with pest protection, which it actually seems to have been doing a really good job. Or the deer just haven't found my yard again. I don't know. Larry's still in his home. My heuchera looks so much happier that it got space. Last year I had 2 purple fountain grasses because Caleb asked if I could kind of shield the mower a bit. But now that I have another hose link back here, which has made gardening so much easier back here, I only have 1 purple fountain grass. I really liked it, really pretty show. It'll still kind of shade the lawnmower and be a pretty display, so did that. I left the stump of last year's for now, just because I didn't want to dig it up and leave a hole. I've got 2 cosmos planted here. I also have some fennel, but it doesn't look like it's coming back. I'm kind of sad. Last year I got a crazy daisy, Shasta daisy for this area, and it didn't come back. So I'm hoping to find another one of those again this year, try it again. We'll see. I kept that because it didn't quite look like a dandelion, though as it's maturing, I'm pretty sure that's just a dandelion. So I've got some dafts that are new to me this year. My crepe myrtle looks lovely, and it even looks like it's pushing out new growth. There's a dill. I don't know what those are. I've got some paper whites. I don't think they'll bloom, but I need to get rid of them. Gerber daisy I planted. More dill. And this should be my goldenrod. This is my hardy hibiscus. That should be a penstemon. And this is the agastache that put off little agastaches in this entire area. I dug as many up as I could. And then back there is gonna be an Arabian Night dahlia. Trying not to trip over my lights. I got some grass I need to dig up. I'm pretty sure that's a straw flower. This is another set of poppies. Looks like they're gonna bloom soon. I'm pretty sure that's a black-eyed Susan. That's my rose campion. I have no idea what that is, but it looks like a plant, so I left it. There's another thing I wasn't sure, but I'm pretty sure that's a dandelion now. This is a black hollyhock. I'm so excited to see that. And then back here, I have double champagne. And this actually looks like a plant, and I have no idea what it is. So, guess I'll find that out. This milkweed came back and actually looks like it's gonna bloom soon. I have a bunch of squash. Again, I didn't put any compost here this year, anything like that, but it's all coming back again anyway. And this basket, Supertunia Bubblegum Vista, best vigorous spiller plant ever. So I thought it'd be really pretty in this area before the squash came up, and I knew. There's a Ipomea, and then there's also another pansy in there that was left over. I've got sunflowers randomly throughout this garden, so I'm letting them go, hoping they stay. This is another thing that I've got these a couple places around my garden, and I don't know what it is, but it looks happy, so I left it. And this is a rose coreopsis. I bought 2 coreopsis last year. Neither one of them came back, so I was hoping this one would. This I'm not sure. It kind of, to me, looks like it might be a cone flower, but I definitely didn't plant one there. I did, however, get a pollinator like pop mix, and I kind of sporadically put that in, so it may be that. Mini rose bush, it's red, and I don't really care for the color red that much, but I wanted to see, it was a clearance rose bush, I wanted to see if it would live in the ground instead of a pot, because it didn't live in the pot last year, so it's doing well. I've got more dahlias sporadically too. I've got a black touch there and a spider cactus mix there. So it's basically like the cactus dahlia, and it's either going to be like a dark maroon or like a purple stripy one. So I'm really excited to see that. This, I have tried to grow this plant from seed. I can't even tell you how many times. So I finally found it at a store, and I said, screw it, I'm buying it. It is the green twister echinacea. So I'm really excited to see that. And then here's my delphiniums I grew last year, and they look like they're gonna be so pretty. Can't wait to see them. Looks like this one will be blue and that one will be like a purple. We'll see. These are some narcissus that haven't bloomed. Looks like black-eyed Susans. Like I said, sunflowers everywhere. Here's another pot I put together. I think I put Canterbury bells in there because they are perennial, so hopefully. Oh, here. This is a pink sorbet peony. So, story of peonies with me really quick. I decided I really wanted one. I really wanted a light pink one. I put it in that pot where the milkweed is by my shed, and it came back the next year. I was so happy. And then the third year, nothing. Did not come back. So then last year, I bought 2 clearance peony roots from Home Depot, put them in here. Neither one of them came back. I also bought a really expensive peony root from the Philadelphia Flower Show. It was like 30 bucks, planted it. It did sprout, and he told me it would, and that it would look like poop, but then it would die and then come back the next year. That root did not come back. And it did not grow, and that was $30 wasted, and I was pretty upset about it. So I thought, all right, last final try. I'm buying an established peony. I'm planting the peony. I already disbudded it so that it focuses on root development. And if that thing doesn't come back next year, then I'm also just not meant to ever have peonies. And that is what it is. So we'll see. More sunflowers. I planted my Rosa Sharon, my white Rosa Sharon, in the ground. I know it looks like it's dead, but it's kind of late to leaf out. So If I do that, it's kind of bendy, kind of flexy, so should be fine. Amaranth. I've got Emerald Falls amaranth growing here. So again, they should get tall and they should have drapey. Those are green tassels. I believe another Black-Eyed Susan. More straw flowers that I didn't plant but came back from last year. This plant, I can't even tell you how much I adore this plant. This is a culinary herb, sage, that I planted out here last year just because I had nowhere else to put it, so I might as well just stick it in here. It didn't flower, I just picked it for the leaves, put in bouquets, things like that, also ate it, whatever. That thing survived the winter, and it is so beautiful. I'm kind of hoping I can keep it all the time because it's almost so bright it like glows in the dark. I love this plant, and I never knew that it could be so pretty. I think this is also another Black-Eyed Susan. Again, not really sure. My Veronica Speedwell is coming up, starting to get flowers. Also, if I kind of try and get in here behind this sage, there is another thing growing here. I do not know. This may be Echinacea. I'm really not sure. But it does look like there's 3 in a row, and that would have been how I planted it last year. So, and then there's also a random pansy growing back here, which never even had pansies back here, but whatever. I love it. That's what I wanted this garden to be. I wanted this garden to be a magical flower, pollinator-friendly zone. And I got a really cute butterfly house for Christmas. So I've been putting some fruit in there. Not that I have butterflies yet, but... Oh, and I just stepped on this Cosmo. Oh well. This is another Echinacea. It's a red sombrero, so it's going to be like a nice red. I've got some foxglove going back there. More Cosmos. I moved a mallow over here because I thought that'd be fun. This is my Lily of the Valley. It's supposed to shoot up pink flowers. I haven't seen them yet, and I think it's past their time, so we'll see. This is a larkspur I've been growing. So looks like I'm getting some buds. So can't wait to see that. I've got a seedling dahlia. Oh, I also have a spider mix dahlia back there. Another milkweed. And this whole area actually has Cosmos that just self-seeded. And I just think it's lovely. So I'm really excited for those. Another pot full of pansies. This is another Swiss giant pansy that came back. And this plant again. Another Gerber daisy I planted. My daylily. This thing again. Like I said, it's like all over the place and seems pretty, I don't know, it's cute. I've got some lavender bee balm there, which that's a pretty aggressive plant, so it should fill up that entire area in the future. My limelight hydrangea looks beautiful. I haven't seen these purple lavenders yet, and I don't see any bloom shoots. They actually don't look too great. And I think part of that's this. I think the way you say it is ageranium, something like that. It was really cool last year, so I've been letting it go because as the irises are done, those take over, big, fluffy purple. But I'm wondering if the roots are kind of pushing the irises out of the soil a little bit, because as I was pulling the sticks out, it was kind of pulling the irises out, so I don't know. An alyssum, it's already done blooming. Another sunflower, nice and big. This is the first time I've gotten to see my flag iris. I bought this last year at the native plant sale. So pretty. Ah, sorry, that was probably loud. Another iris I bought at the native plant sale. That one is purple, I can't read it. Purple flume, I think it says. But I probably won't see any this year, so. This is my yellow iris. It only shot up one bloom shoot, but it is very pretty. Very happy with that. So it'll keep growing and keep getting better. I got some free, they called it rabbit's ear, but it's lamb's ear. it doesn't look very great, but hopefully the roots are kind of getting in there, and then it'll come back next year and take over this area. This is another iris I got at the native plant sale. It is a crested iris. So it's supposed to be like white with yellow and blue or something. We'll see. And then this was my black iris I got. It's already done blooming, but it was very rich, dark purple flowers, and it was really pretty. So pretty happy with that too. My yarrow looks incredible. That one little plant that I planted last year turned into this giant ball of fluffy goodness, and it's about to get some pretty flowers. Really great for pollinators too. I bought another new phlox this year. I thought since that area looks really nice with it filling in, hopefully that'll fill this area in, because this right now is my hardest spot. What we want to do is we want to dig that pipe out and make like a rain garden here to help draw all the water down away from the house. But we've just been doing so many projects, we haven't gotten there yet. So for this year, I'm probably going to cover this with tan bark and cardboard to try and snuff this grass out, because it spreads so easily through rhizomes and it's getting on my nerves. This thing is still here. I still don't know what it is. It looks worse and worse every year, but it's still alive. A bunch of random sunflowers. I think those are more straw flowers. My Lithops grass is coming back. There's a view of all the cosmos. More cosmos. Some sweet peas. And bee's friend. I tried to grow that again twice last year. Some of it I dug up, some of it I bought. None of it came back. So again, last try. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so this has been one of my most favorite things this year, to see how it has evolved since I started it last year. The soil in it is really fantastic. I had no idea that doing the cardboard, doing the mushroom soil, doing the mulch would create such nice, rich soil. And obviously, with the lush growth, you can tell how much of a difference that made. So that's why I'm trying to improve my front garden beds now that I know better. And I can't wait to see what else grows and what else blooms and how this changes through the seasons. Thanks for watching.